Hello and welcome to Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Coming to you from our studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mary Agiobo. Our top stories. Federal government moves forward with Ecom multipurpose dam project. Federal Competition Consumer Protection Commission begins nationwide monitoring of petrol prices. Federal government shelter services partner on housing PPP summit. And on the foreign scene, floods and landslides kill over 100 in Ethiopia. Now the news in details. The federal government has taken a major step towards the development of the Ecom multipurpose dam project aimed at addressing recurring flooding while expanding renewable energy generation. As part of the initiative, government has inaugurated a Presidential Project Development Committee to oversee the planning and implementation of the project under a public-private partnership framework. The Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, which is coordinating the initiative, says the structure is designed to ensure transparency, financial viability, and long-term sustainability. The move follows resolutions reached during a stakeholder meeting at the Presidential Villa, where the Ecom Dam project was identified as a strategic national intervention. Meanwhile, officials said the committee will guide the project from the conceptual stage to bankability while safeguarding public interest and attracting credible private sector participation. Authorities said the dam is expected to become a model for future multi-purpose infrastructure projects combining flood control, energy generation, and broader socio-economic development. A federal high court sitting in Akure, Ondo State has ruled against the alleged plan by Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa to contest for a second term in the 2028 governorship election. The suit was filed by a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Akin Egbuwalu, who sought a constitutional interpretation regarding the eligibility of the governor and his deputy, Dr. Olayide Adelami. The court held that the matter was neither speculative nor academic and affirmed its jurisdiction to interpret constitutional provisions. Meanwhile, in its ruling, the court upheld the plaintiff's application to amend the originating summons, paving the way for the legal interpretation of the constitutional provision guiding eligibility. Moving on, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has commenced nationwide monitoring of petrol prices to prevent marketers from manipulating costs to the detriment of consumers. Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Tunji Bello, disclosed this during a press briefing at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Bello explained that the agency is closely monitoring developments in the petroleum market, particularly amid rising global tensions. The FCCPC also revealed that investigations into airline ticket pricing during the 2025 Christmas period uncovered evidence of pricing fixing. The agency reiterated its commitment to protecting consumer rights and tackling unfair market practices across various sectors of the economy. The Central Bank of Nigeria says the ongoing bank recapitalization exercise is a key component of efforts to strengthen the financial system and support the federal government's goal of building a $1 trillion economy. Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Olayemi Cardoso says sustainable economic growth requires strong support from a stable and resilient financial sector. Cardoso explained that the recapitalization process remains firmly on track with only 4 months remaining before the conclusion of the exercise. He emphasized that strengthening compliance culture and risk management frameworks remains central to protecting Nigeria's financial system and maintaining its credibility, both locally and internationally. The CBN governor also urged the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria to continue promoting high professional and ethical standards within the banking industry. The Nigerian military says troops of Operational Hardened Kai have successfully recaptured Ngoshe community in Borno State after it was briefly seized by Boko Haram insurgents. According to the military, the operation followed a deadly attack on March 3rd when terrorists overran the town. Spokesman of the operation, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, says reinforcements troops from Goza and Polka were deployed to dislodge the insurgents and reclaim the community. During the operation, a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle encountered an improvised explosive device which damaged 2 tires. However, the setback troops advanced into the town, cleared the area of terrorists and restored the military base within the community. The military reaffirmed its determination to deny terrorists freedom of operation across the region. Meanwhile, residents of Maiduguri have described the development as reassuring, while urging the military to sustain efforts to prevent further attacks. We take a pause here, and up next are news stories from the youth sector. Do stay with us.
This is Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.
Welcome back. Glad to have you join us. And now to the youth sector. The Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, in collaboration with Shelter Advisory Services Limited, is set to host the second edition of the Renewed Hope Housing Public-Private Partnership Summit. The summit aims to create a transaction-focused platform for stakeholders to explore strategies for financing and implementing large-scale housing projects across Nigeria. Organizers say discussions will focus on project pipelines, financing mechanisms, risk allocation frameworks, and replicable delivery models for housing development. The summit will bring together federal and state policy makers, legislators, investors, developers, and development partners to align policy frameworks with implementable housing initiatives. Meanwhile, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, will deliver the ministerial address. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, has emphasized the need for sustained capacity building to strengthen surveying practice and land administration in Nigeria. Dangiwa made the remarks while receiving members of the Board of Fellows of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors. During a courtesy visit to his office, he revealed that the ministry is ready to partner with the institution to develop structured training and professional development programs for surveyors, particularly young professionals. According to the minister, capacity building remains the most sustainable pathway for institutional strengthening and professional excellence within the surveying profession. He noted that collaboration between the ministry and surveying professionals will play a critical role in supporting ongoing reforms and infrastructure expansion in the housing sector. The Enugu State Housing Development Corporation has unveiled a new government-reserved area extension in Nsukka as part of efforts to expand planned urban development in the state. The project, located in Obimo, is designed as a smart city housing estate aimed at supporting the growing urban population and attracting property investment. Officials said the estate will provide a modern residential and commercial environment while encouraging private sector participation in real estate development. Plots within the estate are being offered at affordable rates to attract both homeowners and investors. Meanwhile, the corporation explained that buyers who complete payment will receive land registration documentation, including forms for processing certificates of occupancy. However, authorities said the initiative forms part of the state's government's broader strategy to expand housing infrastructure and promote sustainable urban growth. And now to the foreign scene. Russia has urged the United States to ease more sanctions on its oil exports, warning that global energy markets cannot remain stable without Russian supply. The call comes amid rising tensions in the Middle East following military strikes involving the United States, Israel, and Iran, which have disrupted global energy and transport routes. The conflict has significantly affected activities in the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for global oil supplies. In response to market pressures, the United States has temporarily allowed the sale of Russian crude oil already loaded on vessels before March 12th. The United States Treasury says the temporary license will remain valid until April 11th, allowing shipments to proceed while limiting financial gains to the Russian government. Analysts said the move reflects growing concerns over energy supply disruptions and rising global oil prices. And finally, authorities in Ethiopia say more than 100 people have been killed following severe floods and landslides triggered by heavy rainfall in the Gamo zone of southern Ethiopia. Officials said the death toll has continued to rise as rescue teams search for dozens of missing persons. Most casualties were reported in highland communities where saturated hillsides collapsed after days of intense rainfall. Emergency teams are currently monitoring the situation as blocked roads and flooded bridges continue to hamper rescue efforts. Meteorologists warn that extreme weather events across East Africa are becoming more frequent and severe, partly due to climate change. Authorities have urged residents in vulnerable communities to remain vigilant as further flooding remains possible. And that's the much you can take on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. But before we go, let's take a recap of our top stories. Federal government moves forward with Ecom multipurpose dam project. Federal Competition Consumer Protection Commission begins nationwide monitoring of petrol prices. Federal government shelter services partner on housing PPP summit. And on the foreign scene, floods and landslides kill over 100 in Ethiopia. For more news in the housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV on all social media platforms. Download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. I am Mary Agiobo. Bye for now.